In other news, as we often discuss Israel's military, another controversial discussion inevitably comes to light, whether or not to include women in combat roles. And this is especially true today after Education Minister Rafowicz again spoke against mixed battalions. So here now to discuss this further is senior researcher at the INSS, Brigadier General Dr. Meir Elran, and Colonel in the Reserves, Olivier Rafowicz, a senior security and military analyst. Thank you both very much for coming in, first of all.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so I'll start with you, Dr. Elran. What role do the IDF women play in combat today, if any?
Well, first of all, girls or women soldiers play a very significant role in the military, okay? And they have been doing that for, a long time now. As a matter of fact, three of my daughters served in the military, two of them in military intelligence as officers, and another one in the Air Force. So that has been the case for a long time. And this is, I would say, the participation of women in the military is vital, okay, in general. Now, the new thing is, or newer thing, is with the combat units, okay, which represents a certain degree of a problem or a challenge for a certain section of the Israeli society, namely the religious circles, okay? So just to make clear to our audiences, the religious sectors in Israel are divided basically into two parts. One are the more orthodox one, which we call the Haredim, okay? They don't serve in the military, so there is no problem with them as far as, our discussion is concerned. Sure. And the other one are the more moderate, less, radical or extreme religious sectors. And they are willing presently to participate more and more in women's service in the military. And this raises the question, as long as the women join the military and work in the military in a variety of functions, but not in combat units, in other words, in open bases, okay, this is okay. But once they start working in a closed base, okay, in combat units, it represents a certain degree of a challenge for the Orthodox people or for the religious people.
So, Colonel Rafowicz, what roles are maybe not suitable to women in combat roles, if there are any, aside from maybe the religious aspect and the religious kind of division between the soldiers themselves?
I totally agree with the general. I mean that the women in the Israeli army are vital, are central. And we believe more and more that they can serve everywhere, in any position, even the most sensitive positions. As you know, it's not a secret anymore that we have special forces with women in different sectors, not only in the military, but also in police and even in the agencies. And they play a very, very central role. Now, the issue today is not about military issues. It's a political issue. And we are now facing, in the military, but also in other aspects of the Israeli society, the challenge to convince this sector of the society, the religious, who want to establish the new rules of engagement for women in the Israeli army. And it's not acceptable, because women today have the right to do what they want to do. They are the only ones that are capable to refuse, but no one will tell them what to do or not to do. Even in the Jewish former history, we had Esther Amalka, we had special women who play a very, very central role by saving the Jewish people. We have also women during the World War II, like Hannah Senesh, who was a paratrooper, and she was even killed in operation. So it's not a new phenomena. The new phenomena is now there is a radicalization, not only among the ultra-Orthodox Jewish people, but also among the so-called Zionist religious people, because they are now more radicalized, and they refuse even that a woman will sing openly in front of soldiers when they are men. Altogether, we are facing, I think, a very serious trouble in this issue, and I hope that the Israeli army, the government, the Knesset, everybody will continue to push, if they want, of course, women to serve wherever they want to serve, because they will play a central role.
So, I'll bring it back to you now, Dr. Elran. How many, we've discussed a little bit that the fact that there are plenty of combat roles and battalions and units, that are that involve many women or solely women. But is there a large percentage of the women who serve in the IDF who want combat roles? Is that something that, you know, people where women are saying, I want to do a combat role, and they're being rejected, or this argument is only being held in the political arena?
It's not a marginal phenomenon. It's a very important phenomenon because it represents the motivation of the women to serve in the military. And those who are highly motivated would prefer to serve what they term as a meaningful service. That's what they want to do.
Sure.
And in Israel, as you probably understand, the more you are engaged in combat missions, okay, your service is more meaningful. This is true for men, and this is increasingly true presently also with women. So women want to be pilots, they want to be tank operators, and they want to be engaged in actual military service, which means that they want to be participating in the core missions, okay, of the military.
So okay, so final comment. You know, in a few words, you know, what do you think needs to be done in order to convince those who might be opposed to women serving to the fullest extent in whatever capacity that they want? What needs to be done or said to accomplish that?
You want the truth? We have to separate religion from the state. Religion has to deal with religion, and the state has to deal with state issues. Women in Israel are not only women or mothers, they are fully part of the society, and they play the central role, and they want to promote themselves, to go wherever they want to go. The only one who is capable to decide if they want to be or not to be a combatant are the women themselves. Because when you give them 2 years of compulsory service to serve the country, they have the right to decide, and no one else, according to books or according to tradition, will decide for them. Right. And I think that it's very, very important. It's a key issue right now in this Israeli society. It's not only about the women's service. And I think that we are now dealing with a key issue, and hopefully they will do what they want to do, wherever they want to do. And like just mentioned the general, they play a fantastic role, and I just want to salute them, all of them.
All right, well, Colonel Rafowicz, Brigadier General Elran, thank you both very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having us.